Thank you so much for your time today. As a first-time homeowner and mother, I encourage the committee and the public to listen to some numbers. 2050, that is the year the state of Massachusetts wants to 100% phase out gas pipes and greenhouse gas emissions. Why spend millions of dollars on infrastructure that will be rendered obsolete by the time my child enters college? In addition to the $171 million, National Grid wishes to reclaim $14 million in charges that they were forced to waive last winter due to what the DPU has stated was a systematic and uncorrected failure. As a parent, I know if mom says no, you don't ask her 20 minutes later and hope she changes her mind. Nor should you ask dad. Lastly, to the public, when you see the cost of energy efficiency on your bill, you are paying into a system that you can and should take advantage of. Go do it. Get that heat pump. Get that electric mower. You've already paid into this system. Use it. Remember, energy efficiency is not the problem. Companies that are acting like misbehaving children are. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. The next name is Shaun, S-H-A-U-N, and I'm sorry I can't read your last name. Could you state and spell your last name, please?
My first name is Shaun, S-H-A-U-N, last name Henschel, H-E-N-T-C-H-E-L.
Thank you.
I'm a resident here in Lowell, Massachusetts, and I did a bit of research before coming to this hearing. Right now, the average cost of power in the U.S. is 17.24 cents per kilowatt, and we pay 37.59 cents per kilowatt. That is more than double. The average cost of gas in the U.S. is $1.75 per therm, and we pay $2.35 per therm, which is a 35% increase, and that could go up to about 50% above the national average should this rate increase pass. Now, what I don't understand is why we here in Massachusetts pay so much more than the rest of the country for gas and energy. I mean, surely, is it more expensive for us to pipe liquid natural gas in from Boston Harbor than it would be to haul it over the mainland to Central America, where the cost of gas is about half what it is here? Or is it more expensive to build pipelines in areas that are more sparsely populated and need to pay a higher rate per person to provide home utilities than it is here in Massachusetts, where most of that infrastructure is already in place? So I find it hard to believe that there is an explanation for why Massachusetts residents are being charged so much more, aside from profit motive. So I don't know if it makes a lot of sense for the state that is already paying the second highest gas and energy rate in the country to pay even more for energy when we are already so far above the national average. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. The next name is John, and he's the Bonapan? Bonapan. Could you just spell that when you come up, please?
Sure. Sorry, it was legible. B-U-O-N-O-P-A-N-E. Thank you for the time tonight. It is much appreciated. My name is John Bonapani. I'm the Sub-District Director for the United Steelworkers Union in Massachusetts. The steelworkers represent thousands of people in a number of diverse industries throughout the country and Canada. We represent over 1,400 people employed directly for National Grid on the gas side of the business, 400 of which are locally union-based right here in Lowell. We have one of our union meetings every month about a mile from here, the East End Club. The geographic territory that we cover for National Grid, partly out of this yard, goes from parts of Boston all the way up to the New Hampshire border. I think it's about 50 cities and towns that we serve. Very big area. Our people who work for National Grid and the people we represent, they live in the communities that they serve. They pay gas bills, most of them. Many of them have worked for the utility for a number of years, going back to when in Lowell it was Colonial Gas. I myself started almost 40 years ago for what was just Boston Gas at the time. Now it's changed a number of times. It's National Grid, but we know the systems. We know what's out there. Our people perform a broad range of work that keeps the system safe, reliable. We fix gas leaks. We install and maintain gas lines. We inspect. We regulate. We read meters. We do all the office stuff. I mean, you name it, we do it. We do all this 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, doesn't matter when. Extreme weather conditions, hurricanes, the blizzard that we had, our people are out there. That windstorm that just came through the other night and blew all my barrels around, our people are out there making sure the system's staying flowing. So everybody's nice and warm and safe. I'm here tonight to say we support National Grid's proposal. And it's not just because our people have family-sustaining jobs right here in the community. Jobs that have been in this community for generations, as I said, going back to Colonial Gas. But it's because we care about the safety and reliability of this system. We see what happens firsthand when a gas system is not maintained. It's serious, and it has to be looked after, and our people are the minders of that system. Multiple companies, multiple changes. Our people are here taking care of this system. They know what it takes to keep it going. National Grid this proposal will help us be able to do that. These systems are absolutely necessary. They're going to be around for a long time, a lot longer than a lot of people I know want them to be. And we have to start talking about that. We have to be real about what our energy systems need to be. And I think the governor made a statement on Monday, which we welcomed. It was an approach to get people thinking about all of the above. It's needed. All of the above. We welcome that. We support that. Again, it's going to be around a long time. We're going to be around a long time. We respectfully request that this proposal be supported. I do have a couple of people from the local union who are going to come up. I think they're on the list next. They're all going to come up together and just say a few things. But thank you again for your time. I really do appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. So the next speaker is Joe Endicott. That's with 2 T's, dude.
Good evening. John stole a lot of my talking points, so sorry to kind of repeat some of those. But my name's Joe Endicott. Next to me here is Mike Sullivan and Andrew Cuniff. We're all proud members of USW 12012, based right out here in Lowell is one of our areas, one of our yards. We're also ratepayers for National Grid. I'm personally married with 2 young kids, and having a good paying union job enables me to take care of my family, have access to things like affordable health care and stability of a steady income. These good union jobs also keep our members involved in the communities that we live and work in. We raise money for various charities. Andrew's been involved in the Woburn Halloween Parade for like 10 years in a row now. We donate our time and money in lots of other ways as well. John mentioned the broad range of work that we do all year long, all types of weather. The blizzard we had recently, we were out all weekend making sure the gas stayed flowing for everybody so they could stay warm at home. Our union workforce keeps the system operating safely and reliably. which is important for people to have nice warm homes and also to have affordable energy options. This goes hand in hand with the governor's all of the above approach that John mentioned. We support the company's proposal because it will make sure that there is funding to do all the work that we normally do to keep the system operating safely and reliably for those customers, but for our fellow gas workers as well. I'm here today to support that proposal, not just because it will impact our members' wages and benefits and job securities, but because we want to maintain our system and provide customers safe and reliable service. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Mike
Yeah,
Sullivan?
Mike Sullivan. Yep. I'm not going to keep repeating everything he said. I'm like everybody else here. I don't want to come home tonight and open up a bill and see more money, but it's necessary. We have to provide a service. We need to provide it safely. It has to be maintained. It has to be replaced. It has to be repaired. Safety, affordability, and reliability is what we do. So I support the proposal because it's necessary. Thank you.
Thank you. Are you Andrew Cuniff?
Yes, I am.
Thank you.
I'll be short. I support it. Like they said, we strive to have a safe, reliable system. We're in the worst possible weather conditions. You know, making sure that all our customers, have the lights on and the heat going, and the rate increase is necessary to maintain the same level of service that we have, that our customers should expect and are accustomed to. So, thank you.
Thank you. The next name on the list is Bob Bassett. 2 S's, 2 T's.
Hi, thank you very much for hosting this event. Great. Bob Bassett, Lowell resident. And I have a concern that the state and the utility companies, that relationship is perhaps a little bit more adversarial than it needs to be. I think it's very important. Everybody has stakes, got to be respected. And both sides, their goals are somewhat adversarial. And managing that for the betterment of the customers is not an easy task, but I ask that be done respectfully for everybody. The second thing is, in general, I have a concern that we just don't spend enough in the state of Massachusetts for our energy infrastructure. That is a very complicated, multi-decade task, very difficult given what the state is responsible for. And recognize that I don't think we spend enough in our infrastructure. We're not getting ready for what the future really is. And I would ask that the state really be cognizant that it's confusing as a citizen to see where the roadmap is for the state. Where are we headed for gas and electric with all the different sources of energy that are available now? And where are we going in the future? And where are our investments needed now and in the future? I would ask that the state really have a body of information in the website, someplace that, some kid in high school's got to write a book report. He can go to that and get facts on how much energy we consume, what's needed in the future, where are our shortfalls, where are the technology problems. I think the state really does need to educate the population perhaps a little better than is done now. We need to be better informed and more engaged in this very difficult process. Okay? Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bassett. The next name on the list is John, Jon Grossman. Okay, thank you. And the next name is Anne Marie Bolduc, Bolduc.
Commissioner Rubin, DPU members, I am here to say that I formally object to the proposed gas distribution rate increase filed by National Grid, Boston Gas Company, docketed as DPU 26-5. As a ratepayer, I urge the department to reject the requested increase based on a lack of prudence in the company's management of a billing system and customer service operations. And I offer the following. Failure of basic utility function. In late 2024 and early 2025, National Grid demonstrated a fundamental inability to perform the most basic utility function, rendering timely and accurate bills. Thousands of customers were subjected to billing meltdowns where no statements were issued for months, followed by staggering catch-up bills that caused significant financial distress. Many residents went 60 days or more without a bill, only to be hit with massive catch-up charges later. I was one of these customers who received no statement for several months. The DPU issued a letter order, March of 2025, stating that National Grid is forbidden from charging customers for usage that occurred more than 60 days prior to a delayed bill. I had several $100s forgiven, demonstrating National Grid's inability to recoup revenue for services rendered. Imprudent spending and system management is another thing I would like to bring up. The company's request for a $144 million revenue increase is predicated on the need to modernize infrastructure. However, the 2024 billing crisis suggests that the company's existing investments in administrative and billing technology have been poorly managed. Ratepayers should not be required to fund further capital investments or a 10.25% increase return on equity when the company has failed to manage its current systems with the prudence required of a regulated monopoly. Inappropriate cost recovery. I specifically object to any portion of this rate case that seeks to recover revenue lost due to the 2024 billing errors or the cost of the administrative cleanup that followed. These losses were a direct result of National Grid's internal systemic deficiencies. Shifting the burden of these mistakes onto the public through higher base rates is unjust and unreasonable. Their inability to accomplish meter readings in residential neighborhoods with existing equipment and staff. National Grid's existing investments in administrative and billing technology have been poorly managed. The company employs staff to obtain automated meter readings. Manned vehicles periodically ride through my neighborhood. If the equipment does not capture the reading, the meter readers do not exit the vehicle to obtain a reading. In other words, the customers are paying for equipment and personnel that are not able to obtain an actual meter reading. Over the past 12 months, I've received no less than 4 notices in the mail relative to estimated reader meetings that state, in part, continued failure to provide access for meter readings may result in service termination. The form accompanying the notice gives me a little piece of paper with a reading that has clock-like dials on it. The meter that National Grid installed in my property is on the outside of my residence and unobstructed. It does not have clock-like dials on it. On 11 November, I emailed photographs of the meter number and a reading to the address provided by National Grid in response to their 22 October 25 notice. I received subsequent notices related to continued failure to provide access, dated 20 November 2025 and 23 January 2026. National Grid spent resources generating and mailing these notices. A call to customer service on 3 February revealed that the number on my meter did not match my account number. This is further evidence of the company's inability to manage its current systems with the prudence required of a regulatory monopoly. A rate increase is a privilege in exchange for safe, reliable, and professionally managed service. National Grid's recent performance proves it has not met this standard. I request that the DPU deny proposed increase and hold National Grid accountable for its operational failures. Thank you.
Thank you. There are no additional names on the sign-up sheet. Does anyone else wish to comment tonight? Could you state your name for the record, please?
My name is Mary Wamboi. I am a Lowell resident.
Could you just spell the last name for the stenographer?
WAMBUI.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm a National Grid gas customer, and these are my comments. This rate increase creates direct and measurable harm in Lowell. It's going to cause 9.4% increase, or 24.7 or $25, as the AG representative said, in a city where some households actually carry up to a 31% energy burden. Adding nearly $25 a month to a heating bill creates a dire choice between warmth and other basic necessities. I'm on my community's Facebook page, and I wish it was open to the DPU so that you can see people asking each other for heating stuff. People talking about using their ovens. Like, well, this is like, it's professional, it's educated stuff, but it's real to human beings. People are limiting their energy use so that they can be able to afford groceries. And so $24 is not a small thing. The other thing is that this proposal is going to accelerate energy poverty. 920,000 households in Massachusetts struggled to pay their energy bills last year. If it's creating energy insecurity and driving about 1 million people into energy poverty, it's a sign of failure of regulation. These companies are called regulated monopolies, but they are actually regulating us. So we need to see real regulation. Then the capital plan. This capital plan moved from $409 million in 2023 to $1.4 billion annually through 2030. And most of this money, most of this spending is to maintain a 50-year-old gas infrastructure. We all know that wealthier households are electrifying. With all due respect, I think we need to be looking at the charts of what has happened to gas consumption in the Northeast, including Massachusetts, over the past few years. It's declining. That's a fact. And we need to consider that. Why would we invest this much in a gas infrastructure and leave lower residents who a majority of them are not here? There are a lot of Black and brown people here, but they're not here because they don't think anybody cares or anybody listens. Why would we support this capital plan that will create a future stranded asset risk for the most vulnerable residents in the Commonwealth? The other thing is the return on equity. Seriously, this is, I mean, a 10.25 ROE is out of alignment with precedent and out of touch with the hardship families are facing. To be honest, for National Grid to actually request a 10.25% ROE is an insult to every family in Lowell that is deciding between heating their homes and buying groceries. I am super disappointed. 10.5, I'm even just writing that and thinking about the environment we are in. This is terrible. It's arrogance of the highest level. Number 5, you've had this mentioned again, the 14 million in recovery for its 2024 to 2025 billing failures. Why should we pay for that? It will be very, very disappointing if I hear next year that somebody decided that we should give a company 14M because of their own inability to manage their own administrative and billing systems. They can recoup that money elsewhere. My last point, I want to give the Eversource warning. Eversource doubled its profits last year and publicly linked those gains to distribution rate cases, just like this one. The DPU must avoid repeating this outcome. The department should not create another windfall profit for shareholders while we are struggling to pay our bills. I care about union jobs, but the truth is, a lot of this money doesn't go to union jobs. It pays like 13M a year CEO salary and many other things. So they can keep union jobs and they can also reduce their ROE among doing other things. And in fact, I think Massachusetts should do something really smart and slash that ROE seriously, because they don't deserve it. Thank you.
Thank you. Could you state your name for the record?
Hello, my name is Sarah Lapp, SARAH Short and sweet. So thank you very much for being here tonight in the city of Lowell, and thank you for allowing us to speak. My name is Sarah Lapp, and I am a Lowell resident and a ratepayer. I'm also a volunteer with a local climate justice group, 350 Mass of Greater Lowell. And so I'm here today because we're very concerned about this rate increase. We don't understand why it is so high, and we have a number of points that we are concerned about. We know that to meet our goals in the Massachusetts climate law, which is required to head off the worst impacts of climate change, we have to get off of gas heat. We have to. It's not a choice, and it is a requirement for the state of Massachusetts to meet its climate goals. We also know that in the long run, and even in so much shortly in the short term, renewable energy is increasingly cheaper than fossil fuel energy. Even just now, looking at the supply of gas, which is not even considered in this proposal, the prices have risen because it's set by international markets. They've risen approximately 9% in the last week alone due to the geopolitical instability. Which is not something that we can even do anything about as citizens here. But however, it is just overall increasingly expensive as compared to renewables. So as the spokesperson for National Grid pointed out, the big portion of the increase that they are requesting is for infrastructure and asset maintenance. As the Attorney General's representative pointed out, a lot of this was covered by GSEP, but there were still overages because there was they spent more than they were allowed to recover. That's why they wanted to recover more on this rate increase. However, they've also spoken significantly about the number of replacements of gas lines that they were doing as potentially contributing to this infrastructure. When the gas companies replace lines instead of repair them, they extend the life of these infrastructure. And then these new pipe networks will become stranded assets as we move to renewable energy. And it will require long-term payments for our infrastructure that we as the citizens and the residents have to bear. It's irresponsible to continue adding this strain on this consumer pocketbooks. So we have a very brief review of the city council minutes, my group and I, the Lowell City Council agenda over the past year. There were 11 requests for work on gas pipes for National Grid. 8 were replacements due to poor conditions. 2 were replacements due to relocation, and 1 was for an extension.
Excuse me. It's crackling, so you
Yeah.
have to slow it down just a little bit, just in case.
Okay. So 8 were for replacements due to poor conditions, 2 were replacements due to relocations, and one was an extension for new service. There were no requests for repairs, and there was no evidence of consideration for non-gas alternatives. So prior to any approval of such gas rate increase, I think we need to understand, why is so much money being spent on replacement rather than repair? What repair efforts have been considered and why have they been rejected? And what non-gas heating alternatives are there and why are they being rejected? And to that point, I also want to point out that last year, National Grid walked away from the geothermal pilot proposal that they had in the city of Lowell, which not only could have potentially provided cheap energy to our residents in an environmental justice and poor community, but also would have set the stage to employ good union jobs for these type of infrastructure. And I do also know that Eversource was able to make this project successful in Framingham, but National Grid was not. And I don't see how this is overall acceptable. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Ma'am, did you have a comment?
Yes.
Could you state your name, please?
My name is Mona Mayer,
Could you spell first? and last?
MEHR, last name Mona
I'm sorry, last name.
Mayer, MEHR.
And your first name was Mona?
Yes, my nickname is Mona. I am requesting also for this proposal not to be approved. I want to echo District 7 Councilor and also 5 that the reason people are not here is because they don't believe in making a difference. They are like myself. They come here, they hear lawyers and people with pretty presentations and pretty words and people with self-interest, and they don't feel that they can match talking against them. But people are outraged, and I just want to say the reason we are here is this: that we already had an increase that people started calling the governor, and everyone has been complaining. So we just simply cannot afford it. As everyone knows, 60 to 70% of people live paycheck to paycheck, and I don't understand how people who are in charge just assume that we're just gonna spend the money and have people pay for it. I learned some things about GSAP and PPR. Those are again things we don't understand, and the billing problems. But what I was surprised is to hear that this money already been spent. So here we are. Go, figure out how you're gonna come up with the money to pay for it. And I just don't think that's right. If they spend it, who approved it? How could they spend something first and then we all have to figure out who live paycheck to paycheck to come up to pay for that? And if who approved it, who are the people who failed us? I don't understand. I'm here to say we already went through a huge increase. We simply cannot afford it. And I ask you guys to figure out however you can, whether it's the executive salaries, whatever it is, that the GSAP I learned from the billing problems. As I heard, I don't think we should be responsible to pay for those, or even these home energy assessments. I've gone through all these home energy assessments when I qualified, and not one penny of my energy has come down. Like, what am I doing that for? So just get rid of it. There is no benefit in that, it's just cost. However, you guys have to figure out, we can't afford it, I ask you to please not. We can't afford it, please don't approve it, thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else here tonight who'd like to offer comment? State your name for the record, sir.
My name is John McCarron, McCarron. I've got a few points that have been touched on, but can go at a macroscopic and a microscopic level as far as numbers. According to what I was able to research while sitting here listening to others, last year, National Grid, a company from the UK, which also owns the power and utilities in Massachusetts and New York, earned, not got revenue, but earned $10.1 billion. So I don't understand this increase at all. The reason for that is I've worked in industry for electronics industry, but with big companies. And what really is killing me is I understand the infrastructure upgrades. The explosions in Lawrence showed us that they had been neglecting that for far too long. It wasn't a reason to ignore it further once that happened and lawsuits started, I'm sure. Although the lawyers in the company probably decided it was cheaper just to take the lawsuits than do the infrastructure. Massachusetts pushed to get it done so that we would not have more fatalities. I'm most certain of that. But I will point out that infrastructure of any given company is a cost of doing business. If they can't manage their own cost of doing business without putting it on us, they're not doing business. They're doing whatever they can to get money out of the end user, us. We have no options. If you go to electric, well, they're still the same company. So what's going to happen with the electric bills? We know that they're going to go up once everybody's on electric. I just don't see any logic in trying to increase our debt to them when they haven't performed over time until it became a gun against their head to do what they needed to do to support their infrastructure. It's it's ridiculous. That's all I've got to say. Oh, one more thing. I was looking at my gas bill. I don't know how I got on an email list of somebody who mentioned this meeting. I only found out by that email, and I don't know who it was. I don't know. I didn't know anything about a link for being able to talk. But I'll give you a hint of my gas bill. Supply services, which I guess is the supply of gas, was $303 for me from December 5th to January 7th. But the delivery services, just getting it to me, according to this, was $448. Since the bill is kind of confusing, one of these two numbers is 1.5 times larger than the other. Nothing's explained, nothing's clear cut, and it's definitely opaque as can be, so that we're just giving something, say, pay this, and we're paying it. Obviously, they just want to make sure they can give us rate hikes in addition to what they're going to do. They're going to play magic numbers by choosing to move one thing into our base bill instead of where it belongs as far as infrastructure support. And if it's already been paid for, why are we paying for it again? Is a question that's been brought up, and I will emphasize we shouldn't be double billed. Thank you.
Thank you. Ma'am, did you have a comment? Please state your name for the record, please.
Hi, good evening. My name is Phyllis Beck. And I wanted to comment to oppose this rate increase that is requested. We've already covered that Massachusetts is paying the highest rate, or our second highest energy rate in the country. We get into, they're now looking to recover from us unbilled money from their errors. I didn't benefit from that, so now I have to pay twice if that goes through. I'm especially concerned with the whole infrastructure. The company has been charging us quite a bit of money for our gas service, and they've ignored the infrastructure for decades. And now they want us to pay for that. It's, I'm sure, at a critical level. I'm going to say that for all that I pay, I did a little research and say the CEO, John Pettigrew, in 2018 was the year that I could find, was paid $5.6 million. I can also look at National Grid's policies and see that executives can receive an annual performance plan bonus of up to 200% of their salaries. The CEO can get an additional 300% of his salary. Upper executives, I think that says, even if it's 200% in any event. So this is where the money has not been spent on infrastructure. And now we're being asked to pay more while they pay themselves millions. As far as the return on, what is that? The ROE, return of equity, offensive. I'm sorry. An increase in that should definitely not be allowed. The PBR, automatic rate increases, oh, that's just a blank check that they're asking us to write. And I seriously ask that this be looked into, that the proposal be rejected or significantly reduced. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone else wish to comment? Could you state your name for the record, please?
My name is Ricardo Solis, 25 years, United States Army veteran. I live in 187 Fletcher Street.
Did you get the last name?
Solis, S-O-L-I-S.
Thank you.
I've been a resident here in Lowell, Massachusetts since 2019. So during this process, we're hearing the Department of Electric Bills, whatever the case may be, that you want to develop your system, but it's putting us in a situation that we're struggling. With everything going around with the world occurrences, the bills, buying milk, buying eggs, it's doubled. With the electrical bill, I understand what you guys are trying to do, but you know what? This is long overdue. This should have been done a long time ago. Long time ago. So the situation is here is creating more, as like we say in the Army, a cluster. And it's creating us residents to say, should I pay for my bills? Or should I pay for my food? Or should I pay for my insurance for my car? And I'm telling you right off the bat, I stopped driving my car because I can't afford it in my insurance. 62 years old, I'm walking. My community needs to take care of us as residents because we are the future and the next generation. It's our grandchildren, our children. So with this being said, what do I have to do with my food? Do I have to beg? Think about it. I serve my country. I have to go to the pantry to get some food because I can't afford to pay for my electric bill. There was a point 3 years ago, my light was turned off. My gas was turned off. And it was in the middle of the winter. Thank God that I was trained by the Army. I got my duffel bag, my sleeping bags, and I did everything I had from the Army and I kept it warm. But what if the other residents didn't have that? All I'm saying is that no for this. No, no, no. We need help. We are we're struggling each and every day, each one of us. There's no doubt about that. So this company, do they really care for this residents? Depends on, we say no.
Thank you, sir, and thank you for your service. Anyone else? Sir?
Without my name there, without repeated on her voice, but you believe no Chelmsford. I just wanted to also, all the points made please don't accept this level of rate increase. That still stands. The GSAP, priority on GSAP is an important piece. I think there was one item that also I wanted to understand, and maybe there's something that you can ask questions around, is National Grid is asking funding for establishing R&D demonstration programs, and it's unclear what that is. I mean, it's a broad statement. Maybe there are specifics, the details and submitted basically, but in a distribution sense, really, it's not. There isn't much innovation that you can do. For the price increases, the DPU could really say that, those are invested dollars. If somebody was to pay for it, or residents had to pay for it, it's better utilized in the electrification program in essential and critical localized reconductorization and upgrade principles, which can then leverage with the state's expanded mandate and desire to put in more solar, which allows to further reduce the dependence on long transmission and distribution infrastructure and keeps things localized. The shortest path for energy is from my rooftop to my appliances, most of it, and to my neighbors. And it's a very effective way of reducing the peak capital requirements and delaying it until we can get the copper and everything else planned out over multiple years. I wanted to make that point essentially to everything else. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else wishing to comment tonight? Okay, I don't see any. Oh. Sir, could you state your name, please?
My name is Godfrey Langer, MP. Sorry, MPANGA. Thank you for your time. Forgive me for that. I did not intend to speak because the people in this room have actually addressed all my concerns, the ones I had. But when I was coming to this hearing of this petition, I did not expect to come here and listen to people speaking about making expenditures before they come to the public or to the ratepayers, and then present. Actually, I expected like National Grid would be coming over here and then letting us know that here is a petition, this is what we're gonna do, and we want you guys to listen to us, support us, so that DPU can be able to approve this petition. That was my expectation. So when I was seated in the back and I heard these comments coming in, it made me remember when my brother one time called me their daughter in a private school decided to make some investments. Then afterwards, they decided to transfer those investments in the bill of the tuition the child was paying. So he called me and he was outraged. He said, Godfrey, can you imagine what's going on here? People decide to go ahead, make expenses when they have informed us, the parents, then they decide to transfer that and portion it very well for us. So it made me kind of think that probably this is what National Grid is kind of trying to do to us. You go ahead, fine, we're happy. We want you to have efficient systems, but don't go ahead, make investments, and then you try to transfer them to us without reaching out to us before. If the long-term goal of National Grid is reliability, safety, and probably looking at affordability, I don't think affordability is being captured in here. Probably they are looking at reliability and safety, and they're not looking at affordability, maybe in the short term, but in the long time, I don't think that is going to happen. And I think if they are really putting their interests at the forefront of us, the ratepayers, I think they should prioritize the investments in non-pipeline alternatives, such as energy efficiencies and demand reduction and electrification, so that we can be able to achieve the long-term reliability. Thank you.
Thank you.